All right, so in the game of Crazy Eights, there are some rules we need to think about, and we're going to cover those in our side effects. So we have this function in our primary provider called apply card side effects, which right now does nothing in our base game. But let's put that right over here along with an override so that this one is used when we're playing Crazy Eights. Okay, so there's a few things that we want to account for. One is if an 8 is played, another is a 2, another is a jack, and another one is the queen of spades, right? Those are the main ones, at least I can think of. When you're playing with multiple, usually 4s is also, switch directions, but we're only having a 2-player game, so we're not going to worry about that. So let's start with 8 since it's Crazy Eights. So whenever the apply card side effects is played, we have access to the card. So the first thing we can check is, if card.value is equal to 8, and value is a string. So we need to do it like that. And this is where we will essentially allow the player to pick an entirely new suit. So in order to do that, we need to kind of create like um, a widget. Now, this widget should only show up if the player is human. So let's keep that in mind. So if turn.currentPlayer.isHuman, we want to do something. It'd be something like, show a picker. Otherwise, what we want to do is kind of like allow the bot to randomly, pick one. So what we'll do in the inside this 8 is let's actually create a variable of suit called suit, and it's just gonna be null at first. So technically it's, I guess, this. Shit. So we'll have that suit there, and in the case of the bot, for now, let's just set suit equal to like suit.spades or something. Okay. Then in the case that it's a player, we need to essentially allow them to pick something. So we would be using, I'm going to use like a show dialog function here, which we pass in the context. Now, this is an interesting challenge. We don't have access to context in our game provider because this isn't a stateful or even a stateless widget. It's its own thing. There are some good ways around this though. So if we go to our main.dart, we can actually create a couple. I'm going to create both of them now, right at the very top, actually. We're going to make something called our navigator key, and it's a global key of type navigator state. And this will come in handy in a bit. But we also want to have a global, root scaffold messenger key. And it's also a global key, but it is of type scaffold messenger state. And what we can do is we can actually apply these within our material app. So I can say navigator key is equal to navigator key, and scaffold messenger key equal to scaffold messenger key. Um, oh, root scaffold messenger key. Now, because these are just public variables in my main.dart, we can actually access them. So instead of putting context here, I can take my navigator key that we just made, navigator key. So it imported it. You'll see if I command click it, it's going to bring me to that guy there. And we want to say .current context. And technically current context is nullable, but we know it's not going to be null because we know the application's booted before it ever gets here, so we'll just put an exclamation mark. Then we have a builder, and we don't have to really pass anything in, and we are going to be creating a widget essentially that represents that, and that's good. So I'm just going to put like container for now, just so we can finish this up. And one other thing we want to do, barrier dismissible. I want it in this case to be false because we don't want anyone, this isn't something you can, an alert you can cancel out of. We're not even gonna have a cancel button because you have to pick a suit. There's no way around it. So we're gonna show that dialog. Now, what we can do is we can actually await this, and the dialog, which we haven't created yet, can actually return a suit to us. So we can just set suit equal to whatever gets returned from this. And that will mean that this gets set, which we'll build that in a minute. And what we can do is we can't really set the last played card, but we can take our game state object and use the GS last suit and make it equal to suit. And then that will make everything really, really nice. So we need to build this, whatever's going to replace this. So we'll call this the suit chooser modal. So we're actually going to make a whole new folder here. New folder. We'll call it modals. Actually, this still is it's still a component. We'll just put in the components, and we'll call it suit chooser modal.dart. Let's start it with a stateless widget. Suit chooser modal. Okay, so within here, we want to actually, we need to import this, and we're actually going to return an alert dialog, which is one of the options that this builder is expecting, as well as, probably other, I imagine you could actually probably use any stateless widget, or even stateful. We'll give it a title, and it'll be a const of text saying choose suit. And it also needs content. And in here, we're going to have a row of all the different suits. We have some children. It's going to be great. And then we'll have some functionality that happens there. So let's figure that out. What are the children actually going to be? Well, we need, and we can put this right in our build function. We can have, a list of suits. We'll call it suits, and it's equal to this. Now, what I'd like to do, just to make this a little more type safe, is let's actually create something that only this class at least needs right now. We can always move it out if we don't, but we'll call it like suit option. And it's going to have a suit value and a color of color. Okay, so we have that, and we need to construct it. So suit option. Now this isn't a widget. This is just kind of like a data model. So we're going to do required this dot value, required this dot color. Sometimes it gets rid of the closing guy that I had, and there we go. So I like to use the underscore here because I don't want any other files to be using it, and it also is warning me now this isn't even being used. Well, we're about to use it. So final suits is actually going to be a list of suit options. So we'll set it there so that everyone is happy, and it's going to have 4 different suits, right? So the value will be suit.clubs, for instance, and color will be colors.black. Okay, let me just see something here. Yeah, so there we go. Now we can actually do this a little bit. We can actually go and do this. We could say suit to color, and we could then pass in, this should be suit to color, and we can pass in the suit.clubs. That's, fully defined for suit. Oh, I thought it was. What? Static string. Oh, suit to color. This is not part of, right, suit isn't a model. So this could be, card model dot suit to color. So that's one way to do it. However, we could also just do it right in the constructor, aka let's not even require a color to be passed in, and we can say this dot color equals card model dot suit to color, and we can pass in this dot value. I think I'm doing something wrong here. So, what I did is instead of making this final variable, it's a late variable, so it can be assigned in the constructor like this, and then we just do color equals card model suit to color, which means this actually gets a lot simpler. We're just really going like this. So we would have hearts, spades, and what's last? Diamonds. Okay, so now we're going to take our suits.map, and let's just remember to make it a list at the end, and we'll call this S, I guess, or we can just call it suit. And what we want to return from here is we're going to do a text button on pressed, and we'll worry about that in a minute. But the child is going to be text, and we're going to similarly, we want to get what the value, what the string representation of that is. So we can actually do that here too. We could do string late. It'll be a string, and we'll call it label. And let's just say label equals card modal dot suit to Unicode, and we'll pass in value again. Yeah, that's totally fine. That way we can actually just go suit.label. So now we have a text button of that, which is going to take the Unicode, and we want to make sure it's color. Inside text, we'll do a style, text style, and let's make its color suit.color, and let's make the font size like 32 or something rather large. Okay, so that's kind of it. The only thing we have to worry about is on pressed. So because it's going to be an alert dialog, we can actually, when we click one, we can do navigator dot a dot of context dot pop, which will just dismiss it. But the pop, you can pass in an arbitrary value. And in this case, we want to pass in maybe suit dot value. So that will return like either one of these enums, right? One of the club, hearts, spades, or diamonds, which means over here, we actually are conforming to that. So let's save all. And instead of here, we actually want to use the suit chooser modal. And this could be a const because we're not passing anything into it. And if we now get lucky, we can, if we had an 8, we'd be able to try it out. What we could do is temporarily, and sometimes I like to just copy a whole line, and if card.value equals 8 or card.value maybe equals 7, let's kind of like allow a few different things here. And we'll just see. Now, the 8's the only one that will be allowed to play at any time, so we might have to make a change somewhere else, but let's see, we might get lucky. We do have a 5, which will allow us to play, but I can't play a 5, so let's just wait till we hopefully can test this out. Now I can play a 5 by following the rule, so I should get a modal popping up, which I do. So I tried to play the 5, choose a suit. We want to change it to diamonds, parse. Enter. Now, in theory, if everything is right, our AI should either play another 5, which they don't currently have, or play a diamond, because we just changed it to diamonds. Let's see. Did not work. Okay. I wonder why. Game state. Oh, I wonder if we're just missing. It could be because we didn't notify listeners. Let's throw a notify listeners at the very end anyways. Suit, game state, last suit equals that. And then let's see if we can do this again. It doesn't look like we have anything close. So we have a 5. That's the only one that would work. I can't even play a 5 yet, so let's just end turn. King, ace, ace. Okay, I should be able to play a 5 because it follows that, and I should get the suit modal. Let's change it to one that they have. They have hearts. Let's see if they play a heart now. End turn. Oh, they played a 5, which is also a fine roll. Okay. Let us pick up. And do I have anything? No. This kind of testing can be a bit annoying. We could write things that kind of like seed our hand with very specific things for these tests, but whatever. Let's refresh again. We'll be more careful next time. Okay, so we have a 7. We have a 5, so we have a few options. What do we go down to? 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so let's just wait until we can play one of our cards. 10, sure. 6, Oh, we have an 8. Hey, that's perfect because we can play an 8 anytime. Okay, so I'm gonna do 8, and let's see if they we could make this a diamonds because this would be the, or wait, it's gonna loop through this way. So um, let's make it no, let's do something different than a club. Let's do let's do a diamond to see if they play this 9 of diamonds. End turn, and they don't. And I think I know why. I think I know exactly why. Apply card side effects. Oh, we want to go to our game provider and find that. So this gets called here. Yeah, it's because look, set last played actually happens. So what's happening is we're applying it, we're setting that state to the suit, but then it's setting that last played. This needs to actually happen after, and then we should be good. New game. Okay, I got an 8. I got so many 8s. We got 2 8s. So I'm gonna play this and make it spades. And let's see if they play the queen of spades. End turn. And they do. Okay, so our logic is fine now. It's just an order of operations kind of situation. Okay, so we have that. Now, like I said, we could make this AI logic better to choose, a suit that they have. Let's make it not the best logic, but let's actually take whatever turn.currentPlayer.cards.first.suit. So it's going to take whatever suit they have first in their hand. This could be way smarter. Like you could be like, oh, if I have a 2, I want to make it that suit so I can play, or I want the suit to be whatever I have the most cards in. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, this is good. Okay, so that handles our thing. Let's also remember to, and I can just erase this line and put that one back as it was. And we don't really need this comment anymore because I think these comments are pretty obvious. Okay, so next we can go else if card.value is equal to 2. So this would be, oh, someone, this is like a pick up 2 sort of thing. So in this case, let's do, we want to await draw cards. And now I'm not the one that wants to draw it. It should be whatever the other player is. So I can go turn dot other player, which if you remember, all this is doing is getting the opposite of whoever the current one is, which works totally fine for a 2-player game. If we were trying to make a 4-player game, we would need a modal to be like, hey, pick a player or something like that. But we will await that. And the amount, not just 1, but we want to do 2. And we have to remember to just allow any time because it's not their turn right now. And we have to tell our game, like, still allow them to do it even though it's not their turn. So that's good. That should just work. And let's see if we have any 2s. Let's just start a new game. Maybe we'll get lucky. He has a 2. Oh, there's a 2 on the top, which we're not handling like any reaction, any effects for the one there. Let's just play around and make it diamonds. I really want a 2. Maybe I should be drawing then. Okay, well that worked. Look, they played a 2, smart bot, and I just got 2 cards. So that's good. But I imagine a fast-paced game, you might be like, wait, what the heck just happened? Where did these cards come from? I'm not paying attention. So I think we need some kind of modal of some sort or like a toast, a snack bar, that kind of thing. So I'm gonna go to my main game provider and let's go to the bottom because it's kind of like a utility thing. We're gonna make something called show toast, and it's gonna take a string of a message. And let's allow the toast also to we can control how long it shows up in seconds, and we'll just make a default of 3. And in the future, we might also want to have some actions some of our snack bars to have some kind of action. We'll make that nullable. We won't make use of that now, but maybe there's like an undo button or something. I don't know. So now what we can use is that, remember we made that root scaffold messenger, which we kind of need because we don't have context here. So we can use our root scaffold messenger key dot current state. And again, we know that this exists. We could do a little bit extra logic here to make it super safe, but I can't see a world where we don't have a state because you're never going to call this at the start of the game. So show snack bar, and we want to pass in a snack bar. So we're going to construct that right now. Content will be text of whatever the message is that was passed through. We also want a duration of, and we're going to use duration seconds of whatever seconds was passed in, default of 3. And we'll also put an action just in case we ever wanted to make use of an action. So we'll put a semicolon, and there we just have a show toast, meaning in here, we might want to go something like show toast and do, and we can just say drew 3 cards, but we can get a bit smarter than that and actually go, turn dot other player and say dot name, because they have a name, has to draw 2 cards. All right, so let's see if that works. I didn't get any 2s. Our friend here got a 2. So if we can kind of keep it to clubs, we can see if it worked. Let's. Oh, I can play a spade. Okay, let's just play the game. Jack of spades. That's something we'll be handling soon. 10 of clubs. Okay, so in theory, if I keep it clubs, because of our logic, this should be the next one that gets played. 2 of clubs. So there you go. Tyler has to draw 2 cards, and I did. Amazing. So now we have that. Similarly, let's do the logic. Let's get rid of our 2, and we're going to do the Queen of Spades. It's very similar, so I'm actually just going to copy this. Queen of Spades is 5 cards, and we're going to say 5. The only thing we have to change here is we obviously have to make this a queen, but we also need to make sure card.suit is equal to suit.spades. So this is checking, yes, is it the Queen of Spades? It's queen and it's spades, then we'll do that. We'll test that one later. Let's get our last one in. If card.value is equal to, I think it's just jack, spelled like this, then we need to miss a turn. So how do we miss a turn? Well, it's actually very simple. We can just go our turn.next turn, and it'll just reset everything over. Now we probably want to toast here as well. Turn to other player, misses a turn. Misses a turn. That is sad. Okay, so there we go. Like I said, if you had multiple people, we could use 4 to change directions, but we don't. There's no really changing direction when there's 2 people. Okay, so let's try and play a game. Let's just play it. Okay, 9 of spades. Let's start by testing out our jack. There we go. Tyler misses a turn. Why did I miss a turn? There might be some turn.otherplayer.name. Is this player's name Tyler? Or let's find out. We go to our, I think it's just in our game board where we initiate the game. Or no, I think it's in the game screen. Oh, wait, what? Yeah, I'm human. Oh, yeah, okay, so the order of this matters. So we should be saying like this, misses a turn and then doing the next turn. Otherwise, the next turn will make me, I think that's pretty obvious why that didn't work. Okay, so, but it did work. That person missed a turn, I think. Let's see, am I able to play? Oh, this is weird. I can't end my turn. Turn.next turn. Okay, let's start over because we made that change. Okay, so I have a jack of spades again. That's good news. That's good news. Queen of, I have 2 jacks, so we can test this for real. So end turn. Okay, Tyler, wow, just gets me with the queen of spades. Look at that, 5 cards. Let's play the jack. Bot misses a turn, which means I should be able to play again. But then I don't know why my next turn is not showing up. Next turn, index plus current player, draw count. We have a notify listeners. So does this mean I can just keep, so there's obviously some bug here that I can just, I can keep playing. I wonder why. Let's see where this is being called. See, this is fun. Debugging. Apply cart. Okay. So what happens here? The action count is plus set last. Let's play card. I wonder if we have to. Okay, so we play. Yeah, I feel like we have to when they. So we should finish the turn. Can end turn. So I think what we should do is actually call end turn really quickly. But then it's going to, and that would do the next turn. But then we almost need like a function that will do this without, because as soon as we end the turn, it's going to do the turn next turn, and then the bot's going to be able to play. So we almost need just something that's like, skip turn or something. And we can do turn dot next turn. We essentially want to call this twice, I believe, and then notify listeners. So it's kind of like this, but skips this and then goes to another one. I think that will work. So we'll just do skip turn. Okay, let's restart. Hopefully we get some jacks again. And we're almost there. Okay, we have a jack. We just need to make it happen. So let's change it to hearts and see if they hopefully play a heart, which they should. Oh, end turn. Okay, let's try. Jack gets played. Bot misses a turn, then I should be able to play. Boom. Okay, we're back. So just some weird order of operations sort of thing. Now, can we win this game? I can draw, and I cannot play. 10. Eight. So this was played, and my guess, because of our stupid logic, is that we have no indicator, which is probably the next thing we're going to do is an indicator of like what the current trump is. I'm guessing it's hearts because they did this. Now we can't even play if it is hearts, but let's just check my logic because I have every other suit. So yeah, it's definitely hearts right now. We'll have an indicator in a moment, meaning I have to draw. And I draw, but I still can't play. Okay, let's make him pick up 2 because he's getting pretty close to winning. And now hopefully he plays. He's not smart. Obviously he shouldn't have played an 8 right now, but that's okay. He made the suit spades based on what I can see. So let's put a spade. Hey, we were right. Okay, now hopefully, obviously he can't play, but he can play 8, and he would have made it a spade, which is a problem for us, and we are going to lose this game. Boom. And Tyler has to draw 2 cards. That's a good way to go out, Mr. Bot. Okay, we're getting creamed over here. I feel bad. Good bot. Good bot. Okay, so next thing, let's have something to indicate what, which really only solves the edge case when an 8 is played by a bot. But let's figure that out. So in our game board, right over here, we are going to put sort of like this bottom widget kind of thing. So let's actually start with the business logic of this first. So what I want to do is in our root game provider, because this can be used by any games, we're going to make a new thing right here. It's going to be a widget. It's going to be allowed to be null, and it's going to be called bottom widget. And this is going to keep it really generic because you might want to, different games have different, different things. Like maybe you want to show the points or something here. Who knows? And in our bottom widget, so we have that. Let's also make a function, maybe right here, void set bottom widget. and it's going to take a widget, which will also allow null, so that we can pass null in and just empty it again. And we'll call it widget. And we can just go bottom widget equals widget, and we want to notify listeners whenever that changes. Okay, so so that is cool, and we should be good there. So then in our game board, we have our deck pile. This is in that row. I'm going to put this whole thing also now in a column, and main axis size dot min. And before our column closes, let's just do something like if model dot bottom widget does not equal null. We can actually just inject in the bottom widget. Model dot bottom widget. Exclamation mark, because we know it's not null. Meaning, whenever we are, whenever a card is played, we want to kind of set that suit there. So let's build a way to do that. I'm going to make kind of like a helper on top of this helper, void, and we're going to call it set trump, which requires a suit to be passed in. And what this is going to do is actually call set bottom widget with a widget that we're going to build right now. And it's just going to be a card widget, like literally the built-in card, not our playing card, with some text. And we will use that helper that we have, card model dot suit to Unicode of whatever suit that is. And we want to give this text some style. Text style. Let's make it pretty big, maybe like 24. And color, we want to use that card model dot suit to color and pass in that suit again. And looks like we're missing just a semicolon there. And we can probably add another comma there to make it a little bit more friendly. One more there. Sweet. So now what we can do is we can use this set trump. Remember when we made that set last played in our game provider? Set last played. Whenever we're setting last played, let's also set trump. And we can just pass in card.suit. So this, when set last played is called, we can set trump. And whenever set trump, it's going to set that bottom widget to basically like an emoji symbol of the suit. Okay, so let's see. This should work without even as soon as someone at least plays something, which is, oh yeah, I basically lost the game, but it's still going. Okay, hopefully someone can play. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna restart, new deck, new everything. So there you can see right here, we have this little indicator, and that's just reminding us of what trump is. Now, let's try and force him to play an 8, or maybe we'll get one before then. So let's just, whatever, do a jack, because we can. Do an ace, end turn. 10 of clubs, cool, club still shows up, queen of clubs. 8 of spades, he played an 8, and now he turned it to spades, I believe. Oh, maybe not. Okay, so there's something wrong there, and it's probably because our 8, right, we need to obviously in here also go set trump to whatever the suit is. And we know it's not null. In fact, we don't need that. It will never be null once it gets through these things. So let's just start a new game and make sure we're good. Do I have an 8? I don't. Does he have an 8? He does. Okay, if we can get him to play hearts, we should be okay. 10 of diamonds. You can pick up 2. There you go. There's your 2. Looks like he's getting close to wanting to play that 8. And if I, in theory, don't play, I could have played something, but he should play the 8 now. So he's changed it to spades. And we should probably actually another thing we could do is do a toast to be like, this person played spades, or change it to spades. So we'll do that in a second. But in theory now, I have to play a spade. Okay, so that little indicator is working great. So let's do what we said. Let's do a show toast, and we'll just do turn dot current player has changed it to, and we are going to essentially take whatever that suit is. Now to present it in a pretty way, we will use our card model dot suit to string and pass in that suit. So now whenever Nate played, it'll say, whoever the current player name has changed it to this. Do we have any eights? Not really. So we'll see that happen at some point. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there. This is coming together fairly nicely. Okay, I think one more thing we could do is some kind of indication of whose turn it is. Generally, there's like, some kind of bar at the top of your screen that kind of, represents the two different players. So let's build something like that. So first of all, let's call it player info, maybe, .dart. And this is going to be a stateless widget, as most of our widgets have been. Player info, cool. Import this. And we're going to just pass in that turn object. We'll call it turn. And we're going to make it a required key, a required value, this dot turn. Turn needs to be imported. There we go. Okay, so what do we want to do with this? This is essentially going to be a bar that's across the screen. So let's just start by, giving this thing, maybe it's a container with sort of a colors dot black, like really dark black. And for now, let's just give it a width of double dot infinity and a height of 32, just to kind of get it placed somewhere on the screen. So go back to our, I'm just going to have a lot of things open. So Command K, Command W, and let's open back up our player info, but let's also open up the game board. So we kind of have this stack right here, but let's wrap this stack in a column. And I think that'll work. And essentially, let's just put the player info, within the children. Player info. And turn is going to be model dot turn. And let's just make sure, make sure turn isn't null. Because can turn be null? I think it can. It's late. No, it should be fine. It should be fine. Okay. Now this is going to make stuff kind of weird because now that it's in a column, it's not, the stack is no longer taking up all the room. So what I want to do is then wrap this stack in an expanded widget. And then it kind of goes back how it was. It's getting a little bit squishy, as you can see, but we have this player bar here, which will, we're going to have more stuff. So yeah, looks good. Let's give this, I'm going to get rid of the height now because it'll just take whatever height's inside of it. And let's put a row here. And let's actually wrap that row in some padding. Just the default of 8 sounds good to me, or maybe even 4. That should be fine. Now inside our row, let's first of all give it some children, and we want these, there's gonna be 2 items in this row, so let's make its main axis alignment dot space between, so that they essentially are on either sides of them. And what we can do is for our children, we can take the turn dot players dot map. So we're gonna loop through all the players and create an item in this. And let's just remember at the very end to convert this back to a list because it's very easy to forget that. Okay, so first of all, let's just know, is this the current player? And we can just make a little variable here. If turn dot current player, is current is equal to turn dot current player equaling P. That way we can, show things a little bit differently. Getting all of these like warnings because it's doesn't like us not returning anything, but we're about to return something. And in this case, let's return a container. And inside the container, it's going to have some decoration of box decoration, and it's going to have a border radius. And let's do border radius dot circular 3. This is just going to kind of give it a little bit of rounded edges. And we're going to use that is color by checking if they're current. We'll use color dot white. Otherwise, colors dot transparent. Okay, so that's kind of the start. Now, obviously, in here we need a little bit more. So we'll give it a child of text. And what we can put in here is the player name, p.name. And let's just see if this is even all working. So there we have that. Now it's kind of squishy, so let's throw some padding around this guy. And I think just even like 3 is going to be enough. There, that's a little bit better. And we see that guy over there, but we can't see it, and that's because we want to change its style. So let's do style, text style, and it's going to have a color based on the same thing. If it is current, we'll use colors.black, otherwise colors.white. Let's also just in general kind of give it a font weight of font weight dot maybe like 700. Dot width 700. So now we should be able to see both. One is kind of like highlighted, one isn't. Now something else we could do is in where we did its name, which is p.name. Let's turn this into a string with string interpolation. And let's put the number of cards, for instance, that they have. So we can do p.cards.length. And then we'll kind of see, oh, I have 8 cards, bot has 7. Obviously, I'm doing not doing as well. So that's great. Obviously, this could be improved, and you could have avatars and all that kind of stuff. But this should, as I finish my turn, for instance, we should see now it's the bot's turn. Okay, now it's my turn. Okay, and the bot plays really fast, but sometimes it takes longer. There you go. So now we have an indicator of that. Lastly, before we maybe experiment and have some fun, I want to do one sort of final video after this of showing like, okay, we have Crazy Eights. Now, what if we wanted to make a different game? How could that work? But the last thing we kind of have to deal with is the idea of winning. So let's go to our game provider, our base one. And essentially, we want something to kind of represent the game being over, right? So what we can do in our base, this feels like it could live maybe around here. Yeah, I think this is the best spot. We're going to make a bool called game is over. Okay, and it can actually be a getter. And we're just going to return false in here. In fact, actually in this one, let's return if, what is our, if current deck dot remaining is equal to 0, or we can, is less than 1. And current deck can be null. So basically, like in our base boring game, the game is over when this happens. So that's fine. And what we should do is in our play card function in our base one, right before the notify listeners, after the side effects, we can go if game is over. We can call something like, and let's just call it like finish game. And finish game will be, for now, let's just put this near game is over. Void finish game. And we can literally just go show toast game over. And we'll notify listeners. We could do other, manage other stuff here, like, collect all the cards or whatever, and whatnot. But that is fine. And let's just go to our can, where's our can play? We can just go if game is over, return false. So if the game's over, you can't even play a card. So that's all and good, but for Crazy Eights, obviously that's not how, the game doesn't end when the pile's gone. And that's, Something we would also want to handle is, okay, what happens when you run out of cards? Well, all the discards get shuffled up and go, and that is something I'd like to do, but we'll keep it simple for now and assume the game will end before that. So let's go to our Crazy Eights game provider, and we're going to override. We're going to be overriding at least the game is over. So let's grab this, and we'll put it kind of at the bottom. And I'm going to put it before the AI bot override. Okay, so how do we check if game is over? Well, all we really care about is whoever is just playing right now. So if the turn.currentPlayer.cards is empty, if they don't have any cards left, we're going to return true. Otherwise, we'll return false. And now we've conformed to that. So that's all good. We can test this out, but I'm going to make it a little bit easier for us to test. So in our setup board, let's just deal 3 cards to everyone, and it'll be just, in theory, a faster game. Not necessarily, but in theory. Okay, so I can't play, but I can, wait. Okay, there's something that, yeah, something went wrong. Oh, I think I know why. If game is over. Okay, if current deck dot remaining is less than 1. Okay, why can't I do anything? So we made some logic there. I'm assuming it has something to do with this can play card. So let's just see if that is in fact the case. Oh no, it could be, wait, I'm trying to draw a card. Okay, let's just refresh and see. Yeah, it's not letting me, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's just see if we can at least get the trigger of ending the game to happen. It looks like it's going to happen very soon. There we go, game over. Now there's nothing saying like this person won or that person won. So we could, we could very easily in the game is over, yeah, that's the game is over. What's the other one? Finish game. We could just override, this and do show toast, and we could say, because we know it's going to be the current player, turn.currentPlayer.name wins. So that's just going to override that, which means we need an override. And this one won't be called now. This one will, because specifically in this game, we know when this is called, that it is the current player that is the winner. So I do want to see what was going on, though. There seemed to be something weird. I wasn't able to pick up a card at the start. So let's try and debug that, because debugging is fun. So I can't pick up a card. I can't play a card, obviously. I wonder why. So let's kind of step through exactly everything that happens here. So in our draw card, oops, draw cards. Let's find our function for draw cards. So passes in a player. So I'm guessing, let's just put a print statement here. You can literally just say hi or something just to see like when I'm clicking this. So it is getting there, but I bet it's not getting past here. See? So I think it's something to do with this logic here. If not allow, it could be something to do there, can draw card, turn.draw count. Oh, you know why maybe? Let's print can draw card. Let's just print turn.draw count and see if it's, yeah. So okay, that's why. At the start of the game, so we just didn't notice this before. Draw count is actually 6 because this setup board is probably not happening in the right spot. So we should actually set up the board before we create the turn, basically. And I think that will solve our issue. And I'll get rid of that print statement. Okay, so I should be able to draw now. No, it still says 6. Turn equals that. Set up board. Oh, yeah, set up board. Set last played, and then I mean, we could easily just let's just see if this will work, and there's probably a better solution. Turn dot draw count equals 0. Turn dot action count equals 0. Let's just see if that even solves our issue. Looks like it did. Everything's good. Not sure why that's happening because the turn gets made after, and when you create the turn, it's a new game. Setup board. Setup board gets called. I mean, this is a totally fine solution. There's probably something more obvious that I'm just not thinking of right now, but this works. Where essentially when we set the board, because cards were drawn, we're just going to set the draw count and action count to 0. Okay, so we're good on that. And yeah, I think we got we tested everything. There's probably some little minor bugs in here that we'll find, but yeah, this is good. New game gets changed to spades. Boom. I can play, and I can change it to hearts. So we see Tyler. Oh, instance of player model has changed it to hearts. That's hilarious. Has changed it. This should say current player dot name. And did we mess that up anywhere else? Name, name, name. No, I think we're good. Let's just save that. So I've changed it to hearts, and I'm ending my turn. Okay. Now I can't play. Oh, I got a queen of spades. That's going to come in handy. Maybe. Let's really try and screw this guy. He's going to play the 10 of spades now because I can see his hand. Queen of spades, you got to pick up 5. Oh, yeah. End turn. 6 of spades, end turn. Change it to clubs. That's too bad. Can't play. You can skip to the next video now.